All right, guys. You know, I guess there's still going to just always be more talking points with this whole this whole situation with Canelo and Bivol. And the sad thing is that like I'm really starting to think that a lot of these Canelo fans come from single mother households, and here's the reason why I think so. Because they have a lot of female tendencies. I mean, one of the tendencies is lack of accountability. That's one of the things. Another tendency is to play the race card. When the better man won the fight, the more skilled man won the fight, the more composed man won the fight, the more technical man won the fight, and that's just what it came down to. Okay. The thing is that there's levels to boxing, and I said it before, and I'll say it again. There's levels, okay? When you have levels of footwork, when you have levels of composure, when you have levels of poise, when you have levels of angles, when you have levels of jab, when you have all these different levels, then of course it's gonna look different. You know what I mean? It didn't even look like Bibble's coach was even tripping. You know, when I rewatched the fight, Bibble's coach didn't even look like he was like, well, you know, you're down and stuff like that. Although they were really, really trying to take this fight from this man. They were trying their hardest, you know. But at the end of the day, one thing that my dad taught me is that, and you know, unfortunately, he did this when I was younger, like way younger. I'm talking about like where I was like 17 years old, and he's like, "You're a man, you know, you better shut up. You better shut that mess up. You're a man." He was saying that at that time. I'm like, "Oh crap," you know what I mean? Like he for real with that. And so what happened was is that what he was basically the reason why he was basically saying that is because of the simple fact that, you know, he was like, um, a lot of wind in the background because I'm outside making a move right now. You know what I mean? And the reason why he was saying that is he was saying that because um, you know, he wanted me to hold account, take account for my actions. He wanted me to think before I did do things. He wanted me to not act off of emotion. He wanted me to think logically. So he was a bit of a tough customer with me. But I really think, and my mom, you know, my mom's, shout outs to my moms, you know, what happened with her, you know, is that she had to take a backseat, you know, although, like, she understood, you know what I mean, like, and she didn't question my dad, you know what I mean, like, she just took a backseat, and I'm like, dang, you know, this is what it is, you know. When I say my dad was perfect, I won't say he was perfect, but he did some real stuff. You know, he did it like, you know what I mean? Like, he did some things that I was like, wow, man. Like, in hindsight, you know what I mean? He did some things that I was like, oh, you know, he a real one. You know what I mean? But anyhow, with this being said, I don't think these Canelo fathers or these Canelo fans have daddies in the household, because there's no way in hell you act like this if you do have a dad in the household. Or what I think is that, you know, if they did have a dad in the household, what you would call it, he took a back seat to their mom. To the mom of the household. This is how I feel. You know, this is, I hate to say it like this, but this is just basically how I feel, bro. Because now the new excuse was, and I saw this on the Facebook post, the new excuse was that Bivol was 184, Canelo was 180. But you weren't saying that when Canelo was like almost 15 pounds bigger than Amir Khan on fight night, and you weren't saying that when Canelo was like basically, you know, when he was like bigger than Josecito Lopez and made Josecito Lopez come up in weight. You guys weren't saying that then, but all of a sudden, you know, he's too big now. You know, like, yeah, so this is funny to me, you know. This is very, very funny to me. Now, the other excuse that's coming out now, this is news to me. The other excuse is that it was Canelo's vegan diet, and I kid you not. These are talking points on. These are talking points in these boxing communities. You know, in these YouTube boxing communities, Facebook boxing communities, Twitter boxing communities, these are talking points. And I'm like, yo, you really can't make this up. You really can't make this up. You know what I mean? So yeah, bro. I'm being dead serious. I really, if it's one thing, like for example, when Erickson Lubin lost against Sebastian Fundora, I was just like, yeah, you know, that pressure just got to him. And it just like was just too much, right? I did question some things about it, but I didn't dwell on it. You know, I questioned some things, didn't dwell on it, kept it moving, right? I had to just admit, like, the guy just got worn down. You know, that's what happened. Like, he's still one of my favorite fighters, but he just got worn down. You know, taller guy, more pressure guy. And, you know, mentally, you have to be very strong to deal with that 12 rounds. You know, that's a part of it too, right? So, but the thing is with Bivol, right? With Bivol and Canelo, I wish people would understand that, like, Bivol wasn't even fighting on the inside like that, bro. He wasn't even fighting in the pocket like that. That's the fight Canelo would have won it. But Bivol didn't even do that. Okay, if Bivol was doing that the whole night, if Bivol was bullying him the whole night, now I can say, okay, it's the size difference. I'll be like, okay, yeah, obviously the size difference is what really matters, right? I would just have to accept that. But it's not the size. He didn't really use his size. It's the same thing that they said about Shakur and Oscar Valdez, man. They said the same exact thing. It's the size. And then they said he was running. Of course they said he was running. I'm used to that by default. Now I'm pretty much used to that. That by default, when a boxer is more skillful, they're going to say he was running, right? But they didn't say that about Canelo when he was on his bicycle in this fight, which he was a couple of times. They said, oh, he was boxing and moving. That's what they said. It's like, bro, just admit that you watch boxing for one fighter because of his nationality. Just admit it. I would have more respect for them if they did that instead of pretending like they're boxing fans. You know, because at the end of the day, they're not boxing fans, bro. Like me, I'm a boxing fan. If I just base my like a boxing based on race, then I wouldn't even like rock with Bivol. But I've been rocking with Bivol since he fought, since he was coming up. Shout outs to Made Man. You know, Made Man, shout outs to him. He's the one that kind of put me on Bivol. And I'm like, okay, let me watch this guy more. Let me see what this guy's about. Okay? And then once I did that, I was like, okay, this guy's the real deal right here. I'm like, this guy got something. You know what I mean? But it's just like ridiculous with these Canelo fans, man. It is really ridiculous. Man, I'm just gonna end this. I'm just gonna end this on this note. On 2 notes, okay? Number one, you know, Shakur Stevenson is Puerto Rican, right? From paternal lineage, he's Puerto Rican. His dad is Puerto Rican. Paternally, right? It still doesn't matter because ethnically, that's the problem. His ethnic background still won't give him acceptance from the greater Latin community, because the thing is, in the Latin community still, you had a history of apartheid. For example, you had a history of apartheid in Argentina, which wiped out like most of the Afro-Argentinians, right? You wouldn't think they exist because they're so small in number now, right? So even though culturally and nationally he may be Puerto Rican, but ethnically he's black, right? It still doesn't matter for these mestizos, for these blancos, Latino people, okay? Yes, the Afro-Latins will, of course, embrace Shakur. Yes, definitely. But it doesn't matter for the majority of Canelo fans who are blanco or mestizo. It doesn't matter, you know. Even the quote-unquote like Aztec warriors, or the ones who claim that they're indigenous, but we know they're mestizos as well. You know, they can claim that indigenous stuff all they want, man. They're mestizos as well. Their blood got tainted by that conquistador as well. And that can be that could be another video. What I'm talking about can be another video, right? All right, and so the last point I want to make too about this whole situation is basically you guys got to get out your feelings, okay, about this, okay, and watch boxing for boxing. That's what you guys really got to do. You guys don't, okay? And UG Flame kind of like inspired this video, because this is what you see, and it's like, man, y'all are some like, you guys are like really on some like stuff right now. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna even name some of the names, but you even got I'm not gonna even name them. You got even like these black panel holders saying Canelo was robbed. And it's like, bro, that's not going to win you their approval. Okay? They don't like you for not rocking with their fighters. So you think, oh, if I rock with their fighters, they'll like you. They don't like you for you being you, period. That's just it. So stop it. Okay? Stop it. And on that note, man, I'm going to end this video and just say, take your freaking L. All right? Take your L. And one more thing, I keep on thinking of talking points. This was the blueprint they laid out. This is what they wanted to do. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what Eddie Hearn. I'm gonna tell you what Eddie Hearn, and I'm gonna tell you what the game plan was. But Bivol said hell to the no. The blueprint was for Canelo to beat Bivol, right? After he beat Bivol, they were gonna have the Triple G fight. So yeah, they were gonna do that third Triple G fight. After he got past Triple G, they were gonna do a fight in either London or Mexico, right? And then they were like, okay, by that time, we should be able to age out, even more, Arthur Beterbiev, so he can be on his last leg, and we can possibly go for undisputed at light heavyweight. That's what they wanted to do. That was the game plan. So they were already looking past Bivol. You even had Eddie Hearn say, yeah, after we get past Bivol, I think Canelo wants to fight in London or something. So you had them already talking like this, okay? So they obviously looked past it. That's the thing. They were already looking past it. So I don't want to hear all these excuses and stuff like that. You guys thought he was going to win. I didn't think Canelo was going to win. Okay, I think that the only chance he had was by a robbery, which he darn near got. Okay, I even had to, make a Canelo fangirl cry. She literally was a girl, and she said, I cried because of your comments about what you said. And I said, oh well, crap happens. That's how savage I am, bro. And that's how savage you gotta be with these guys. Because if you don't put, this is the thing, if you don't press a strong line against this BS and stuff like that, they're gonna think that everybody is gonna be basically conforming. They're gonna think everybody conforms, and they're gonna still think that they're gonna have this mentality that it's Canelo's world. We just live in it. This old media mentality, and not everybody is like that. Some boxing fans like myself push a radical line. We push like a radical line, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, it really sucks that boxing has to get political, but it does, bro. I hate to say that. It should just be about sport and stuff like that, but unfortunately, politics and stuff like that get drawn. And the thing is, if you don't draw the line, right? If you don't do that, then more people are going to think it's okay to do this clown stuff. And I'm not going to think the people who base their whole channel off of Canelo. But just know this one guy, his name starts with an I and it ends with, like, I think a P. Just know that he's the biggest Canelo cocksucker that I've ever seen in my life. And he's still, and he's even making excuses for him. He knew this day was going to come, and he knew that Canelo, that a lot of people had Canelo's numbers. Okay, it's just that unfortunately he they found out the hard way. Him and Team Canelo found out the hard way. But anyhow, man, let me go handle this business. That's all I got for now. Leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Fool is signing out. Like and subscribe. Rock with me. And Jada.